You've probably seen him on shows like Man vs. Wild, or Running Wild with Bear Grylls, where he braves the wilderness and survives against all odds. But how much of what he does is actually real? We'll be looking at everything from the equipment he uses to the scenarios he faces to answer that question. So, stick around to find out. Firstly, let's talk about the equipment Bear uses on his shows. One of the things that has been criticized in the past is the fact that he carries a lot of gear with him, including a camera crew. While this may make for good TV, it's not exactly what you'd call surviving on your own. However, it's important to remember that the show is meant to be entertainment, and the crew is there to film and ensure Bear's safety. Additionally, many of the items he carries are basic survival tools that anyone should have with them if they're going into the wilderness, such as a knife, fire starter, and a water bottle. Moving on to the scenarios Bear faces on the show. One of the main criticisms is that the situations he encounters are often contrived or staged. While this may be true to some extent, it's important to remember that the show is not meant to be a documentary. It's entertainment, and the scenarios are meant to be exciting and challenging. That being said, many of the situations he faces are based on real-life scenarios and can be useful for viewers who may find themselves in similar situations. Now let's talk about some of the survival techniques Bear demonstrates on the show. Some viewers have criticized him for using techniques that are too risky or dangerous, such as drinking his own urine or eating insects. While it's true that some of these techniques may not be the safest or most hygienic, it's important to remember that in a true survival situation, you may have to resort to these methods to stay alive. Additionally, Bear is a trained survival expert and knows what he's doing. It's not recommended that viewers try these techniques themselves unless they're in a true survival situation and have no other options. Let's discuss Bear's overall demeanor on the show. He's known for his tough, no-nonsense attitude and his ability to stay calm in even the most stressful situations. While some have criticized him for being too intense or over the top, it's important to remember that his attitude is part of what makes the show so entertaining. Additionally, in a true survival situation, staying calm and focused can be the difference between life and death. So, how realistic is Bear Grylls on TV? The answer is that it's a bit of a mixed bag. While some of the scenarios he faces may be contrived or staged, many of the techniques he demonstrates are based on real-life scenarios and can be useful for viewers. Additionally, while some of the techniques he uses may be risky, he is a trained survival expert and knows what he's doing. Ultimately, it's important to remember that the show is meant to be entertainment, and viewers should take what they see with a grain of salt. That being said, there's no denying that Bear Grylls is an entertaining and charismatic host, and his shows are sure to keep you on the edge of your seat. Bear Grylls has faced criticism in the past for not disclosing when certain scenes on his show were staged or simulated. While it's understandable that some scenes need to be recreated for the camera, it's important for viewers to know when they're watching a real survival situation versus a staged one. Bear Grylls is a former British SAS soldier and has been trained in survival skills from a young age. He has climbed Mount Everest, crossed the North Atlantic Ocean in a rubber dinghy, and led expeditions in some of the most remote locations on the planet. His expertise and experience in survival situations are a big reason why he's able to stay alive and thrive in the wilderness. Bear Grylls shows have been criticized for promoting risky behavior and dangerous techniques to viewers who may not have the same level of survival training. It's important for viewers to remember that the techniques he uses on the show should not be tried at home, and that safety should always be the top priority in any survival situation. Bear Grylls has also been criticized for not giving enough attention to the ecological impact of his actions on the show. Some viewers have pointed out that his use of fire, hunting, and fishing techniques can be damaging to the environment. While it's important to remember that the show is meant to be entertainment, it's also important for viewers to be aware of the impact of their actions on the natural world. Bear Grylls has also done a lot of work outside of his TV shows to promote conservation and environmental awareness. He is an ambassador for several charities and has worked to protect endangered species and their habitats around the world. It's important to recognize his efforts to make a positive impact on the natural world as well. Thanks for tuning in to this video. If you found it informative, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel for more great content like this. And as always, if you have any comments,